The economies of both Germany and America before World War I affected the social attitudes of the common people towards the war and influenced government policies in joining the war itself. For example, German economic society began to transition from an agrarian one to an industrial one. As a result, the advancement in technologies increased the rate of production in Germany, making industry in 1913 60% of the gross natural product, or in other words, the total value of goods produced and services provided by a country during 1 year. Consequently, wealth and employment were concentrated in many urban industrial sectors by 1900, attracting many potential workers and decreasing the rural population from 67% to 40% by 1910. The life of the German working class citizen was surprisingly beneficial, with the national income per capita rising from 352 German marks to 728 until 1902. On a side note, the value of 1 mark was fixed to a value of 0.358 grams of gold in the European gold standard monetary system, which was really high at the time. With the German Industrial Revolution came a divide between the socio-economic classes. With the possibility of war looming over Europe, and especially Germany, the attitudes towards war were split amongst the German working class and the German middle class. The working class were against war, while the middle class were pro-war. These pro-war attitudes among the middle classes were partially due to their fear of Russia's intimidating force, while the anti-war attitudes were primarily due to the fear of the consequences of war. Nonetheless, however, the German government decided to support the middle class's pro-war opinions due to their increased representation in politics compared to the lowly working class citizens. As a result, German economic preparation for war at its simplest was devoted to ensuring that a sufficient supply of artillery, rifles, ammunition, uniforms, boots, and all sorts of materials that a mass army required to enter into the war and sustain it for the duration of the conflict. The welfare of the German citizens was no longer a priority in terms of German economics. On the other hand, the Germans' American counterparts were similar and different in many aspects. For instance, America was similar to Germany in regards to its economic prosperity before the war. Beginning in 1870, the groundwork was laid for America's modern capitalist economy. Among the features to emerge were giant corporations, transportation and communication networks, the growth of heavy industries, banking and financial organizations. This period was known as America's Gilded Age. America during this period was a creative hub for the world, with thousands of new inventions and patents being created, including the telegraph, the telephone, electric power, and lighting. The economic boom also required investment capital, leading to the formation of stock markets and the growth of American banks. Leading all this growth and benefiting directly from it were a new socio-economic class, the business tycoons. The war attitudes of these quote-unquote business tycoons were one of the main differences between Germany and America. This new class of citizens and the overall economy also benefited from trade with most of Europe, which included countries in the Central Powers and the Allies. So by trading with only the Central Powers or only with the Allies, American economic prosperity would decrease. So the only reasonable decision that was supported by the government and the business economic classes was to remain neutral in war. And that's what they did until 1914.